morning once again. Citizen FM 93.7 is 3 minutes past 8 o'clock, the 22nd day of September 2025. It's time for us to see some headlines across dailies. Today we have Punch, Vanguard, Penput, Sun, Telegraph, and a host of others. I'm joined by Lawrence Moite in the studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Didi.
Hope you slept well. Restful weekend?
I tried.
Fantastic. All right, so let's see headlines from Punch. $2 million fraud. Nigerian risks 20-year jail term in the U.S. A BAS rejects Assembly's move to probe 6 months spending. A BAS rejects Assembly's move to probe 6 months spending. Bulk fuel buyers dump middlemen for direct Dangote supply. Bulk fuel buyers dump middlemen for Dangote supply, direct supply from Dangote. Crude supply to domestic refineries hits 67.6 million barrels, according to the federal government. And there's a special report inside dilapidated Ogun Hospital where patients supply their own beds. Russia-Ukraine trade blames for deadly overnight strikes. Tinted permit enforcement begins October 2 from police spokesman. Tinted glass permit enforcement begins October 2. Okay, and we have 2027 APC opposition list expectations for next INEC chair. APC and opposition list expectation for the next chairman of INEC. Those are the headlines we can see on Punch. I would like you to react to as many as we can before we take a look at the next paper, Lawrence. Yeah, we looked at a couple of them. Bulk buyers are now dumping middlemen for direct supplies from Dangote to... All right. $2 million fraud. A Nigerian risks 20 years jail term in the U.S. NDLEA seizes heroin, cocaine, meth, skunk in nationwide raid. Tinted glass permit enforcement begins October 2. That's an update from the police.
Okay. The one that caught my fancy, there's the River story. The IBAS
reject.
I don't know.
Move to probe
I don't know in what capacities rejection is based on, because the national.
We could take a look at the story for a bit. It says. IBAS ceased to be administrator of Rivers October 7, and so the Rivers State House of Assembly presided over by the Speaker during its first plenary after the end of the emergency rule said it will investigate the state expenditure during the 6 months of emergency rule. I'm trying to get the main points of the story. According to the resolution, to explore the process of knowing what transpired during the emergency rule with regards to spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for the award of contracts and other expenditure. There were findings by Punch, and it showed that Rivers received at least 254.37 billion naira from the Federal Account Allocation Committee between March and August 2025, during the period that the state was under the sole administration. I'm still trying to get where he said he was not going to, allow that. Okay, so there's a report on the deductions. River State had been engulfed in political turmoil for nearly 2 years. In response, I think it's in response to the March 18 declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers and the suspension of Fubara. That is like very hidden in the main story, in the main body of the story. Okay, I think we're close. CSOs are demanding a probe. Meanwhile, the civil society organization in River State has demanded accountability from the sole administrator over the money that the state received from FARC. I'm not sure that it was captured here because it's a pretty... Reacting to the House of Assembly's move to probe expenditure under his tenure, IBAS said the lawmakers lacked the power to investigate him, pointing out that they didn't appoint him as the administrator of the state. He was answering questions from reporters from Punch through his senior special advisor on media on Sunday. And he said it was understandable that having been away from the business of legislation for a while, the lawmakers were merely trying to make an effect or an effort to discharge their functions. And he described the lawmakers' resolve as commentary, adding that the attempt to probe the former administrator was tantamount to probing the president who appointed him, as well as the National Assembly, which supervised the activities of Ibaz as the sole administrator as he then was.
Well, I think it's neither here nor there. The argument is highly academic, if you ask me. What I know is that the State House of Assembly has the powers to investigate any aspect, any occurrence within the state during the period. And but whether the State Assembly will go ahead to investigate that, it's another ballgame, because if you know the politics of Rivers State, it's not likely that the State Assembly will
go ahead and
investigate. But as for...
So are you saying they're saying the same thing? Because that sounds like what the special advisor on media said. He said they were just looking for a ways to make an effort to discharge their function. Like,
well, I wouldn't put it that way.
Like,
I wouldn't put it that way. But you know when politicians talk, they know what they are saying. But I know that nothing is likely to come out of any attempt to probe. If at all, they will go ahead, because they are just the only time you know or be certain that the Assembly will probe is that if in the floor of the House there's a motion moved to that effect, then there's a committee set up to investigate, then you know that then this is a serious matter. But for me, I don't think that at the end of the day that will see the light of day.
Okay. Tinted glass permit enforcement begins October 2, according to police spokesman. Is there anything you want to start to discuss?
Well, this tinted fully, it's been on and off. The dates keep shifting and shifting and shifting. But I don't know. It's neither here nor there again. The last I heard was, I think one human rights lawyer went to court. And we'll see how it is, because I think there are a lot of commentaries from human rights activists, from lawyers, as to whether the police has a right not to enforce tinted permit, but to collect money. Mm-hmm. Because that's where a lot of people are grumbling about whether, in fact, the police has a right to say, okay, if you want to be exempted, you fill a form, then you pay certain amount of money and stuff like that. That's where the problem is. But let's see how it goes. For me, I've always said that if it's for the good of the nation, for security reasons and everything thereabout, I'm all well for that. Anything that will enhance security, but then we must always be on the right side of the law.
Anyway, just to clarify, some states have confirmed that biometric capturing will be done free of charge at State Intelligence Department headquarters. Jigawa State, for instance, is saying it's going to be free of charge. So I think for them, that conversation about grumbling and monies to be paid would naturally die a very good death. Anyway, crude supply to domestic refineries hit 67.6 million barrels. That's an update from the federal government. Just related, bulk fuel buyers dump middlemen for direct Dangote supply. So you can just look at all the...
I think it's the politics of oil supply. It's been on for about 2 weeks now. Remember, there was a time... Zenupeng now wanted to go on strike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because of... allegations that the workers in the Dangote factory,
they refused to join the union
and stuff like that. But I think that was clarified and that was resolved. I think the major problem is that the fear of the Dangote refinery, Dangote Group is trying to break that monopoly of the middlemen and deal directly with the retailers. And naturally, there will be resistance because a lot of people are benefiting from that. So let's see how it pans out at the end of the day.
Anyway, how it's panning out is already seen. They're already kicking, and the people who have the decision to make, they're already dumping the middlemen. And we can only tell that it's going to meet stiff opposition ahead. And
don't forget that these middlemen, very powerful people, they are not going to sit back and watch.
Right.
They're going to fight back.
Especially now that he's making news. Anyway, Natural President explained that his members gave up to 30,000 trucks and cannot do the business of fuel distribution free of charge. So somehow they need to recuperate. They need to get the monies back for what they have invested. Anyway, that's about the stories we can take from Punch. Let's see Vanguard. Crude oil imports hit record high as Dangote refinery reshapes trade flow. Maybe same story, but just captured differently. And that's one of the headlines you find on Vanguard today. Let's see. We are finished. Peter Obi faults Remi Tinubu's birthday donation request. That's how he said, we are finished, quote unquote. African manufacturers seek extension of U.S. trade program. Rivers people deserve to know the agreement between Tinubu and Fubara. And Q Briggs says Rivers people deserve to know.
Well, let the governor tell her and the Rivers people.
Is he the one to tell? Is he the one to tell?
Well, he was part of the agreement.
Anyway, Lafarge launches new plan to boost local manufacturing. Marching order on food is useless, Mr. President. I think it's a column that is worthy of read. CIS to spotlight innovation and global market leadership. NIMET again predicts 3-day rain, thunderstorms from Monday.
I think it started yesterday.
Today is the Monday.
So you mean yesterday was not part of it?
Bonanza. Yesterday was buy 3, get 1 free.
That yesterday one was massive. I don't know about your area, but in my area, from about 7 to 8 p.m. till around midnight.
Okay. Anyway, just to clarify, some parts of Kaduna, Gombe, Kebbi, Zamfara, Damawa, Bauchi, Southern Borno, and Taraba would experience isolated thunderstorms later on today. Central region, in fact, Nasarawa, FCT, Niger, Nasarawa, during the morning hours, as we saw yesterday in the FCT. According to NIMET, a cloudy atmosphere with sunshine intervals is anticipated over the southern. Show would be, taking on news on the hour. And of course, our subsequent bulletins
exactly, Didi. And I think, thankfully, people would not accuse NIMET or other agencies of not pushing out this information. In the last couple of months, it's been there on the front burner. So what does that mean? What are we doing?
And the predictions have been true, too.
Exactly. So what are we doing as a state, as the federal government, as local government, as communities? What are we doing with this information? Are we waiting for the doomsday? Are we waiting for something to happen before we now start shouting, calling for help, calling for donation and stuff like that? Little things. What are we doing about the drainages on our streets, in our community? Because this is what leads to the build-up at the end of the day. The little things that can be done at local government levels, what are they being done? The ones that can be done, we know the spot, we know the flood-prone areas. We know them. So what, apart from saying, people should move away from this area, people should move away, that is not just enough. It's a difficult task to ask people who see a place as their stressful and just say, move away on radio. Just make the announcement on radio.
To where?
To where? What has been, you understand? So we need to make conscious effort with a lot of advocacy to make people see that, look, if you stay here, it's dangerous for your kids, it's dangerous for your family for now. Okay, let us give you somewhere for now that is equally okay for the moment, and let's see how it can be done. Not just see move. No, it's not going to solve. People are not going to move.
But from the reports we've seen over the last couple of months, just as we're seeing updates from NIMET, what do you think is happening?
Oh, well, it's not difficult. I think it's climate change that is really.
No, I mean, as it regards the point you raised, as the response to these information that are reeling out, what have we been doing?
We've not learned from the past. We've not learned our lessons. Unfortunately, that's it. That's it. We've generally, I know that in some states, in some few communities, people make. But if you look at in total, if you look at the picture in total, we've not really learned a lot. And it's such a shame.
Because I don't think anything should happen beyond what has already happened. People have lost their lives, people have lost their homes. We're talking millions of people displaced, and we still haven't learned. Is there supposed to be, what else is supposed to happen before we get to learn?
Well, I wish I know the answer.
All right, moving on now. Still headlines on Vanguard today. Otedola to Dapman, your business model is outdated. Dangote is transforming petrol sector. That's Otedola to Dapman. Dapman responded to Dangote during the course of last week, and Dapman threatened, and Dangote said they were standing by what they said. It was like some sort of face-off going on. I'm still waiting to see Dapman's reaction to Dangote's insistence on their position. Anyway, moving on. No Nigerian, dead or alive, can say I told them I wanted third term. Obasanjo. No Nigerian, dead or alive, can say that I told them I wanted a third term.
Well, I think he has thrown a challenge to Nigerians, dead
or alive, to come
forward and disprove. You understand? But he didn't tell me. But I know that during the third term controversy,
agitation,
I was an active participant in terms of reporting. I was covering the National Assembly then.
So was it the House members that wanted third term?
And there was a lot of pointers to the fact that yes, that the third term controversy, the rumor, so to speak, was real. I understand. A lot of indications. If you're a political reporter, when you see these indications, you will know. But if the main man, the main actor himself,
said he did not say,
denying that he didn't say, well, you can't fault him. He didn't tell me. So I wish that there are one or two people who are brave enough to say, okay, you did. But if they don't come out, then you can't fault the man at the end of the day.
Okay, Kwankwaso gives terms and conditions to rejoin APC. I will make Tinubu lose 1 million votes. Marafa boasts. Fubara resumes, reaffirms loyalty to Tinubu and Wike. That's about all the headlines on Vanguard.
Well, the Kwankwaso story has been trending in the last 3 days or so. Pointers again shows that I would not be surprised if he ends up in APC.
Front page Daily Independent for 22nd September 2025. How charter airlines use a temporary import permit to defraud Nigeria. There's a full report on how charter airlines use temporary import permit to defraud Nigeria. Experts blame political interference and the judiciary. Operators asks Customs NCAA to realign position. Nigerian banks' contribution to economic growth is low, according to experts. Nigerian banks' contributions to economic growth, low. Federal government revokes 1,263 mineral licenses over fees default. They did not pay, so their licenses were revoked.
Well, I think I'm thrilled by what is happening in the
mining sector
in the last 1 or 2 years, at least since the minister came in. And not surprisingly, there's been a lot of pushback because when you try to change the situation, people will resist. A lot of people will resist, especially people who are benefiting from that. It's obvious that a lot of these miners were ripping Nigeria off.
Right.
And with the collusion, unfortunately, of some of our officials who looked the other way or who were directly complicit in this. And it's such a big shame. So I'm not surprised that some of them are crying with what is happening. And we hope that the minister and his team and do not buckle to a lot. There's going to a lot of blackmail, a lot of stories, sponsor stories, and so many. You know the way where corruption fights back. And
there are reports on how that some of our natural resources, there is no data on how much is exported every single day out of this country.
Exactly.
So they are mining, they are getting these resources, and they are taking away, but there is no data to show that.
Isn't that a shame?
No. Tinubu to declare 2025 Editors Annual Conference open. Check page 6 to the details of the story. You've been my steadying anchor, Tinubu tells wife at 65. That's some moments. All right, there's a writer to the story. Shetima says her sense of unity, upliftment of humanity, her sense of unity, upliftment of humanity, legendary. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Well, I don't know. I don't think anyone, even political rivals, would concede the fact that Senator Oluremi Tinubu has been a strong pillar for the current president, right from even before he joined politics. She's always been there. She's always been strong. And she, on her own right, has made her mark as a politician.
Right.
On her, very, very important. When she was in Senate, she was very active, very articulate, although sometimes controversial, but then she was there. So I don't think after maybe Mariam Babangida, after Mariam Babangida, we've at least seen a first lady who has been on the front burner consistently like this. Apart from being a pillar of support to the husband, on her own right, she can stand.
Yeah. Because I had a few names, but it's good that you clarified.
Yes.
All right. Serap Amnesty gives Tinubu 7 days to drop cybercrime defamation charges against Sowore, X, and Facebook. Have you been following that story? Well, it has come down to 7-day ultimatum from Serap now. They're saying that they should drop the, charges of cybercrime, defamation charges against Sowore, X, and Facebook.
My problem with all this 7-day, 12 days.
It will come and pass.
If you want to challenge you go to court and challenge the.
No, what about let's give it the 7 days? If you don't do it, then we now go to court.
Because 7 days for me is grandstanding.
Sure.
If you want to do something, just go ahead and do it. You give 7 days forward, or else you do what that's when you now go to court.
Fuel subsidy cut is not a reason for hardship in Nigeria. APC says fuel subsidy cut is not a reason for hardship in Nigeria, says Obi Atiku, no threat to president's re-election. It's going to be like a walk in the park.
Okay. I wish it was that simple. But when politicians talk, sometimes it's a political season, so you let the politicians do the banter.
The Abuja Inquirer is up next. Military orders probe of, is it Deacon explosion? That's on page 6. No Nigerian dead or alive. Yeah, that story made it front page of the Abuja Inquirer. No Nigerian dead or alive can say I called him over third term. On page 11, it's captured there. NECO probes 38 schools, sanctions 9 supervisors over mass cheating. Check page 12 for details. Funding gaps threaten HIV treatment quality in Nigeria.
I'm happy that NECO is catching the spirit now of trying to fight examination malpractice. I hope they'll be able to sustain it because it's a massive, massive industry with a lot of powerful interests, and they are going to fight back.
Just like we have in the oil sector, yes.
They are going to fight back.
All right, brace up. Another headline now, relief for homeowners in Rivers Park Estate. Wike assures CFO. Finally.
Well, congratulations.
Finally. Okay, I think that's about it. Daily Sun. Federal government to relocate 30,000 cattle out of Abuja begins infrastructure development at 9,000 Kawu Grazing Reserve. The story starts on the front page and continues on page 6. Tinubu to declare open, the editors' conference in Abuja, November 4. Government revokes additional 1,263 mineral licenses, as we saw earlier on another paper. And Zenith Bank posts 2.5 trillion naira gross earnings, declares 1.25 interim dividend. Well, that's a good way to say congratulations. And now the Daily Monitor. Rivers people deserve to know what Fubara agreed with Tinubu, as we saw on Punch earlier. And Keo Briggs accuses PDP of betraying the trust of Rivers people and Nigerians in total. Federal government probes flesh-eating disease in Adamawa. There's a disease called flesh-eating disease in Adamawa now, so the federal government is probing that. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I've read about it, and we await the result of the probe.
But what is it like? What's the disease like?
We don't know no details yet, but when anything about things you see on the social media, it's neither here nor here. Most of them are not based on any scientific.
No, but if the federal government is saying that they're willing to, probe it to find out what's happening, they must have seen something.
No, that's what I'm saying. For now, based on what we see on social media, there's been nothing authentic.
No. Okay.
Based on rumors.
Okay. Nigeria needs citizens with character, not just soldiers with weapons. Mara speaks on page 3. NDLEA uncovers 116 wraps of heroin cocaine from Brazil returnees. I remember you had Femi Babafemi here, and this was talking points, basically just substance abuse across the country. Page 5 today of Daily Monitor, NDLEA uncovers 116 wraps of heroin cocaine from Brazil returnees. Okay, I think we've exhausted the front. Okay, something up here. Oh, yeah, that's the story about 7-day ultimatum that she said is overflogged. Break now. When we come back, more headlines coming your way. It's Citizen FM 93.7. Just stay with us.
The issues. Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Theory behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant retired without a roof over his age.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country. Hussein cannot be divulged from those who cause the crime. Honestly.
The passion.
You must have national spread. So where is it?
Why are you so concerned about that?
He said money was...
I never...
No.
The platform is always the same.
Insight on Citizen FM 93.7.
The source is constant.
My name is Lawrence Umoite.
There is always an opportunity.
Tomorrow, Insight returns with another interesting...
Insight with Lawrence Umoite on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Be part of the experience.
kẹ́kùnrin ó gbọ́ kó sọ fún toko kẹ́dùn gbọ́kọ̀rọ̀ kọ́ bẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ètò kan tí yóò ṣọ bí òṣùmọ̀ lójú ọ̀run ìgbádùn rẹpẹtẹ pẹ̀lú baba kéńgbé tí yóò ṣọ lórí iléeṣẹ́ Citizen FM 93.7 Àbújá ìgbádùn rẹpẹtẹ pẹ̀lú baba kéńgbé ètò alárin yóò máa mìlú títì bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti agogo 9 sí agogo 11 alalẹ́ ọjọ́ ìsinmi Sunday ọmọ yín olólùfẹ́ yín ni Olú Tọmọrí Wílọ́bì MC Tiza baba kéńgbé kéńgbé ọ̀rọ̀ fún rẹ̀ jagunmúlà pèdàgbáyé làtọ́kùn ètò ẹ má gbàgbé o ìgbádùn rẹpẹtẹ pẹ̀lú baba kéńgbé lálálẹ́ Sunday ni o bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti agogo 9 títí dé agogo 11 gbáko lórí iléeṣẹ́ alálùbáríkà Citizen FM 93.7 Àbújá àbúrúdùn dé o ẹ má mí ṣe o mẹ̀sì gbọ̀kú.
Stay connected to the heartbeat of the nation's capital. Tune in to FCT Today every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. on Citizens 93.7 FM Abuja. Get the latest updates on news, events, and happenings in and around the Federal Capital Territory. From politics to entertainment, business to culture, we have got the inside scope. Join the conversation, stay informed, and be ahead of the curve. Don't miss FCT Today every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. on Citizens 93.7 FM Abuja. FCT Today, your window to the FCT every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. on Citizens 93.7 FM Abuja.
It has just begun.
Check it out.
Rescan your dial.
You found it.
You found it. Citizen 93.7 FM. We are the best.
To 93.7 Citizen FM. Based in Nigeria's capital.
Your #1 radio station.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions, music and drama. At Citizen FM, we believe in progressive talk and solution-driven conversation. Our aim is to build a united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Citizen FM 93.7, 8:34 a.m. is the 22nd day of September 2025, and we're looking at headlines across papers today. We have This Day up next. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm joined by Lawrence Umorte, who's really giddy this morning.
Thank you so much, Didi.
This day is up next. El Rufai, Tinubu is planning life presidency. He's not a genuine Democrat. Reno Omokri replies, I love Jonathan, but I will support Tinubu in 2027. Say the story on page 5. Why did you make that sound?
About the allegation from El Rufai.
That he's not a true Democrat?
Yes, that is, he wants to become an autocratic president for life. I also remember when the same El Rufai told us that there was a mark list by Jonathan for some people to be eliminated, and it was number 1 on that list.
And he's still alive. Almost a decade later. UK, US, Canada, Australia announced recognition of State of Palestine. More Israelis and more Israeli allies to follow. Okay, that's one story that made it on the front page of This Day. You'd see details on page 5. On reconciled federation funds, FARC awaits NNPC on $42.37 billion OAGF on 2 trillion naira pending payments. Alleged unpaid monies cover 2011 to 2017. Ad hoc committee tasks National Oil Firm to account for exploration fund since 1999. Another call for another probe.
It's okay, but for me, Didi, I don't know. I wish that we are able to do these investigations, probe, whatever, on time.
Okay.
On time. Because we'll be going back to what happened 2011 to 2017. And you know the way we are in the country with our record-keeping prowess. Most of the people in charge would have been out of the scene and so many other things. Why not at least 2-3 years back?
And let's start from there, right?
Yes.
Because there's still a need to probe even as far back.
No, there is, but I think if we don't wait, what were we waiting for 11, 12, 15 years? If you make it normal that every 2-3 years you probe what's happening, every year you probe, it becomes normal. You don't need to wait and go back 11, 15 years. That's what I'm saying.
I hope that the right thing be done at the end of the day, because sometimes there's a call for probe like this, and then somehow something happens where maybe we get distracted by other issues. There is no probe.
Maybe it's deliberate.
Right. I just didn't want to say that. Or that maybe there's something, matters of more urgency. I don't know what happens.
What could be more important or urgent? than our collective wealth.
Our collective wealth. I hope there's an understanding of that. Anyway, New Telegraph is up next. Controversy over Ibazi's 5 billion naira verification savings claim and last-minute appointments. Fubara to Rivers people. Peace is the greatest gift. Hold it dearly.
Well, BRICS should get that. I think that's the answer to our question.
Yeah. Peace is the greatest gift. So that's the agreement they reached, right?
That's the agreement.
Agreement on peace. I see. It won't happen again. Okay, I think the story about the Palestinian state being recognized is acknowledged on a lot of Nigerian papers today. It's also on the front page of New Telegraph. Unpaid service fees. Federal government revokes 1,263 mineral licenses. CJN to inaugurate 57 new SANs, that's Senior Advocates of Nigeria, as Supreme Court marks new legal year. 57. That's something.
57, that's huge.
Congratulations to them. Okay, I'm trying to see the... no, this is not clear. Stop the poor from sliding into deeper poverty. Christian group begs Tinubu. I remember let the poor breathe. So they're saying... stop the poor from sliding into deeper poverty.
Yeah, well, it's politically correct for everyone to say that, let the poor breathe, Christian groups. The question I always ask, what do we do at our own levels to help the poor? You have those of you that run a company of like 5, 6, 7 staff. What do you do to do stuff? How do you treat them? Understand, somebody that runs a small private school, how do you treat your teachers? How do you treat the cleaners? How do you treat the drivers? The one that runs a private university, apart from the humongous fees that you collect, what do you pay to the lecturers? What do you pay to the non-teaching staff and everything before we come to the bigger scene of
the economic
state and the federal government and so many other things? So it's always very easy for us to just want to let the poor breathe, let the poor breathe. But
a lot of times when people give this charge, their argument is always that, we're not the decision makers as it concerns the economics of the country. So, for instance, it's not our fault that inflation is where it is. It's more of the lawmakers or the people up there.
No, I get that. I get that. No,
position of
valid.
Even if I paid my worker 200 million naira every month and they take that money to the market and they're not able to do much with it, what is the benefit of it? As against if I pay them 50,000 naira and there is value in that money.
Valid argument, but what I'm saying is that it's not a one-fit-all. You do yours and let the government do their part. It's always like that. It's always better because at the end of the day, no matter what policies are in place at the federal level, if at your own level you don't do much. For example, let me give you a typical example. By law in the country today, no worker should receive less than 70,000 naira as salaries. But a lot of private schools,
schools, different, just the organizations, because it's not even just schools.
Organizations, they pay 25,000, 30,000 to graduate. So what do you say? What do you say about that?
Nigeria's money market poised for more liquidity on fresh 751.2 billion naira inflow. Tinubu hails wife on 65th birthday 2027. Early campaign is a trap and set for opposition parties by APC. That's Galadima speaking on pages 10 and 11. Wildlife Society warns against bushmeat consumption.
I didn't say anything.
Why?
I didn't say anything now.
Your reaction? Well, they are warning against bushmeat consumption.
Because, they said that an old woman is always very uncomfortable if bones are mentioned in Proverbs. So I'm not going to say more than that.
Well, I think that is all you need to say. You've said all you need to say. Lawyer seeks amendment of Oaths Act as it relates to Soludo Ekunife face-off. Lawyer seeks amendment of Oaths Act. have headlines from Pen Pushing today. Strange flesh-eating disease hits Adamawa, 7 killed, 67 additional cases confirmed. Strange flesh-eating disease hits Adamawa, 7 killed, 67 additional cases confirmed. Decomposed body found on Jigawa Hill in Jigawa State. Decomposed body found in Jigawa on Jigawa Hill. Tinubu to declare 2025 Editors Annual Conference open in Abuja. Pastor gives free bras to braless female church members. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so that brings us to front page Sporting Sun now. Ademola Lookman. Oh, you have something you want to say?
No.
Okay. Ademola Lookman plays. Sorry?
It's a Monday morning.
Amen. Ademola Lookman plays only 3 minutes in Atalanta big win. Ademola Lookman plays only 3 minutes in Atalanta big win. He listens to advice from bad people. That's what his coach said. Gift Orban breaks 23-year Serie A record against Juve. That's on page 6. He will be playing best football of his career. Ex-England coach says he will be playing the best football of his career. Man United considers Maino plus cash bid for Valverde. Chelsea interested in Jory Giza. I hope I got that right. Jory Giza. Slot warns Liverpool players over complacency. Saliba requests urgent meeting with Arsenal. Dembele tipped to beat Yamal to win Ballon d'Or. Messi smashes MLS record, hits stunning milestones. Gueye prefers Real Madrid to Liverpool move. And before finally, Sinner embroiled in Hitler lyrics fury. Finally, Vinicius Jr. is considering Real Madrid departure. If you want to know more, grab Sporting Sun for today, Monday, the 22nd of September, 2025. Say thank you very much to you for listening and joining us all through. And if you join us at any point in time, thank you for staying with us. Thank you, Lawrence Omoite, for giving us perspective on some of the stories today.
Thank you so much, Didi, for dragging me in.
Oh, okay. At 9 o'clock, News on the Hour will come your way, and right after that, it'll be time for Citizen Sports, and it'll be followed by Insight today. What are we expecting on Insight?
Well, our guest is Jide Ojo. We'll be talking about some very crucial national issues, especially the amendment of the Constitution being considered by the National Assembly. The House of Reps is organizing a public hearing today.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to that. All right, stay with us. It's Citizen FM 93.7.
Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM.